Welcome to the 2300 Pick Six podcast. I'm your host, Dave Walker, about to do the final NFL schedule analysis of the schedule for this week. So the final two teams are the Giants and the Washington Commanders. Insert Krusty the Crown Cologne right there. And that was my best one, too. But when you get with the worst, you're going to deal with right now. But in the end, we'll do my division picks, my mock playoff picture, and whom I think will win the Super Bowl, my Super Bowl picks. And then after the end of the show, we are going to make a brief announcement what's going to happen after this. All right, so we're going to start off with the Giants schedule. So for the New York Giants, they got a new head coach in John Harbaugh. Gayball was fired after that. Then they went with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart suffered a little bit of injuries. Cam Scatterwood might be coming back from injuries. They will be believing that Malik Neighbor out for 6 weeks. So this is going to be a team that's going to be a little bit of a struggle. I don't know how it's going to be. Now, next year, I think they may do a little bit better when everybody's back and all the pieces are there. But we'll see how this goes for the Giants, a.k.a. the Smurfs, how me and Joe Law called them, and anybody else too. So here we go. First game they have is against the Dallas Cowboys, week 1 in Sunday Night Football. Do I really need to do the James Harden eye roll right now for this one? 0-1. Next, they play against the LA Rams. They're going to get killed. 0-2 in LA. Then they play the Titans at home. They get a win there. Then they play the Arizona Cardinals at home. They'll get a win there. Then they play the Washington Commanders in Washington. That will be a loss. I think both of those two are going to split. Against the Saints at home, that's a loss because I think the Saints are going to be a lot better this year. And I think, regardless of location, I think the Saints are way better than the Giants. Next, they play the Houston Texans in Houston. That is a loss right there. That defense is going to get to Jackson Dart. Against the Eagles, even without A.J. Brown, I still think the Eagles will smoke them. That's a win by Philadelphia. Against the Giants on Thursday Night Football, God, I hope both of them are not have a bad record. Because if they do, I will not stream that. And I will not go to a casino for that. I'll watch, but it will not get streamed, and it will not go to a casino for, and it won't even get touched for money-wise. If that is Thursday Night Football. Let me check. Damn it, that is Thursday Night Football. Fuck. I pray to God one of them have a good record or somewhere near a decent record. But if it is shitty, I am not touching that game. Jaguars against them, that's a loss. They're going to lose that one. Against the Colts, Danny Dimes gets his revenge. That's a loss. Against the 49ers, that is a loss. Against the Seahawks in Seattle, that is a loss. Against Cleveland will be a win. Against Detroit on Monday Night Football, that is a loss. Against Dallas, once the new year starts, Dallas wins against the sweep. Against the Eagles at home, final game of the season, that will be a loss. So a breakdown of the Giants' record is 0-1 against Dallas, 0-2 against the LA Rams, 1-2 against Tennessee, 2-2 against the Cardinals, 2-3 against Washington, 2-4 against the New Orleans Saints, 2-5 against Houston, 2-6 against the Eagles, 3-6 against the Washington, 3-7 against the Jaguars, 3-8 against Indianapolis, 3-9 against San Francisco, 3-10 against Seattle, 4-10 against the Cleveland Browns, 4-11 against the Lions, 4-12 against Dallas. So they're going to go 4-13. So I have another bad record again. It's going to take time with them, so I don't know how it's going to be next year. Now, if they get Vita Vea, because I know he wants to get traded, he's asked for a trade, it could help them somewhat, but I don't think it still would make a difference because that secondary needs to get fixed, and they have no O-line. And the last one on the list is the Washington Commanders. So here we go with their schedule. I'm going to pull it up. All right, Washington's schedule starts off. Their first game is against the Philadelphia Eagles. That is a loss in Philadelphia. Then they go to Dallas. That is a loss. Against the Seattle Seahawks at home, that is a loss. Against the Indianapolis Colts, even though that's an international game, I think Washington pulls that one off. I'll give Washington that one. Against the New York Giants, that is a win. Against the 49ers, that is a loss. Against Philadelphia at home on Sunday Night Football, and they have their bye week, that is a loss. They're going to get swept by Philly. Against the Rams, that is a loss. Against the Giants, that is a loss. They will split. Against the Bengals is a loss. Against the Cardinals, a loss. Because I think that will be the Cardinals' first win because I think Washington will find some way to fuck it up somehow and mess it up. That will be a loss. Against the Titans, that is a win. Against the Houston Texans, that is a loss. Against Atlanta, I'm going to give them Atlanta. I'll give them that one. Against Minnesota, a loss. Against the Jags, a loss. Against Dallas, end of the season, that will be a loss because I think that would be Dallas trying to fight to get the division and for moving up and sitting in a playoff spot. So here is a breakdown of the Commanders' record. 0-1 against Philadelphia. 0-2 against the Dallas Cowboys. 0-3 against Seattle. 1-3 against Indianapolis. 2-3 against New York. 2-4 against San Francisco. 2-5 against Philadelphia. 2-6 against LA. 2-7 against the Giants. 2-8 against the Bengals. 2-9 against the Cardinals. 3-9 against Tennessee. 3-10 against Houston. 4-10 against Atlanta. 4-11 against Minnesota. 4-12 against Jacksonville, and 4-13. So I have them going 4-13. So this will be a team that's not making the playoffs. And I think that Daniels was just good because it was rookie year. Now everybody's figured him out. All right, next on this on the shindig of the show is we're going to go a breakdown of my division winners, my mock playoff picture, and my mock Super Bowl picks. So here we go with the first division pick. So for the NFC East, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. My reason is, but no, it's not my team, and I'm not playing a damn Dallas Cowboy card, which everybody's thinking. No, my reason being is because with Philadelphia getting rid of A.J. Brown, you lost a lot of that production. And I think Philly's still going to be good. I think it's going to be a neck-and-neck race between them both. But I have the Dallas Cowboys winning that division. For the NFC North, it is a tie between the Lions and the Bears. If the Lions can stay healthy, meaning everybody can stay healthy on defense and on offense, if all of them can stay healthy, they have a shot at winning their division, and they also have a shot at winning the Super Bowl. I'm going to go the Lions. That's my reason for the first with the Lions. For the Bears, if the Bears can get the defense worked out, that is their one flaw is the defense. The offense is good. Coleman Ungai, DeAndre Swift, Luther Barden, and with Cole Kmet and Romeo Odunze. That offense is set. It's just the defense they had their problem. They did give up a lot of big plays. But in my instance, I think Detroit is going to win. So I'm going to say as of right now, I'm going to go with Detroit. For the NFC South, I'm going with the Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay right now, trading off Mike Evans to the San Francisco 49ers. Vita Vea demanding a trade right now. He wants to out of Tampa Bay. I think Tampa is going to regress now that Rashad White is gone. It's going to be Bucky Irving. Chris Godwin is getting up in age. Emeka did good, okay, in his rookie season, but then he kind of regressed in the end. I don't think Tampa's winning, and I don't think Tampa's going to the playoffs this year. So in this one, I am going to go with the Carolina Panthers winning the division this year. For the NFC West, I'm going with the LA Rams. Getting Myles Garrett was a steal that nobody saw. They have a good running back combination. Matthew Stafford, I think, is going to may get a Super Bowl here. This could be his final one, but I am going to go with the LA Rams here. I think the Rams are going to win that division. For the AFC East, tie between the Bills and the Patriots. I've been down this road with the Bills so many times that I pick them to the Super Bowl. But in this instance, I don't know how they're going to do with the new coach. I don't know how Josh Allen does it good in the regular season. That's not the issue. It's come playoff time. And for those of us who ever watched the X-Files, it's on Hulu and Disney Plus. God just gave Hulu and Disney Plus a plug. Watch this episode called Music of the Smoking Man, where the Smoking Man stated he did not want to see the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl as long as he is still alive. William B. Davis is still alive to this day, folks. So if the Bills win a Super Bowl, not that I'm wishing this upon William B. Davis, and I love William B. Davis. I love all the stuff he did in the X-Files as a smoking man. Not wishing that upon him. You better pray and hope that William B. Davis passes away sometime soon. That's the only way that's going to happen. He had never said that. So but the Bills going to, but for the Patriots, here's the reason I think if the Patriots could try to win would be getting A.J. Brown helps for Drake May. You have a good combination with him, Kayshon Boutte, Hunter Henry, and DeMario Pop Douglas. Defense-wise was okay. They have a good running back combination for Ramondre Stevenson and Trey Hendrickson. So there's a possibility they could win it. But if I'm going to say I really cannot trust the Bills at this point as much, I think the Patriots get this division. So I'm going to say right now my final Patriots. Next one I have is the Bengals/Ravens. I'm going to say Cincinnati on this grounds of if Joe Burrow can stay healthy and the defense can be somewhat manageable and good because getting Dexter Lawrence helps them a little bit with their pass rush. So if this defense can do good and Joe Burrow can stay healthy, they can win this division. For the Ravens, they have a new coach. Lamar Jackson always did good in the regular season. They still have King Henry. Lost a little bit of weapons in Isaiah Likely. Problem is their defense. They have an issue, even though they did get Hendrickson from them. That's their one major problem. But if I'm going to make a pick right now, I think this is the Bengals' time. I think everyone stays healthy this time, and they go back to the playoffs. But if they don't, I think this will be the end of Joe Brady. He will get fired. Next one, I have another tiebreaker between the Texans and Jaguars. Texans had a good defense last year near the end of the season or midseason. The defense helped them win most of their games. And unfortunately, they did lose to New England in the divisional because of the bad weather, and the defense could not stop Drake May. They have a good offense. You're going to have it with David Montgomery and Woody Marks. Now, if Tank Dell can stay healthy, they can probably win some games here, but we'll wait and see what occurred. On the other side with Jacksonville, had a very good offense. We're very, very red hot in the end. But if Trevor Lawrence is not throwing an interception, I don't know how far they would have gone. Defense-wise, a little bit on the shaky side. But for me, if I'm going to say right now who I'm going to pick, I'm going to say Houston because defense does win you a championship, and I think Houston's going to win. And I'd say Houston would have a very good record. And I'm not going to say I would not sleep on this team. I think Houston's going to have a very good defense this year. And for the AFC West, I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos this year. Another team with a very good defense. If Bo Nix does not get hurt, I think the Denver Broncos would have won the Super Bowl. But I think now them getting Jalen Waddle helps them a little bit here. I'm going to say Denver wins the division because I don't see Patrick Mahomes going on a revenge tour and getting his revenge and winning the division this year. I think Chiefs make playoffs, but they're not winning the division. So I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. Now I'm going to do my mock playoff picture pick. Now for the NFC, we have the Rams as a 1 seed. The Lions as a 2. Dallas as a 3. The Carolina Panthers as a 4. Your 5th seed would either be the Seahawks or the 49ers because I think 3 teams are coming out of the West for a playoff spot. The Bears would get the 6th seed, and the Eagles would be the last seed. Now, here's how these matches would occur. You would have the Eagles versus the Lions, which the Lions would win at home. You'd have the Bears versus the Cowboys, which I think Dallas would take because Chicago has not done very good in Dallas. So I would take the Cowboys on that one. You would have the Seahawks versus the Panthers. You would have the Seahawks beat them. So wait a minute. No, wait. Hold up. Yeah, you would have the Seahawks beat the Panthers. That's right. I did have the Seahawks beating the Panthers. So your next one would be your division. You have the Cowboys and the Lions and the Seahawks and the Rams. Fortunately, I think this is going to be the brick wall again. Detroit wins that one. Seahawks, Rams, I'm going to take the Rams. And your NFC championship could be the Lions versus Rams, where the Rams go into the Super Bowl. Now I'm going to say this right now. If the Cowboys get in the playoffs, and I know some Cowboys fans will probably do this, and they've seen the photo with me and Danhausen. If y'all go to Danhausen, be careful what you do. Do not play with a special force. I'm not advocating I'm washing my hands of it. If anybody y'all go to Danhausen, that is on you. Nothing against Danhausen. Danhausen, I like you. Please do not curse me. All righty. So in our next playoff picture I have with the NFC, here's a different one. Let's say the Seahawks are that 1 seed. The Bears are a 2. The Eagles are the 3 seed. The Panthers are the 4 seed. Your 5th is the Rams. Your 6th is Detroit. And 7 is Dallas. So your match would be Eagles versus the Bears, Lions versus the Cowboys versus the Lions, and Panthers versus Rams. So you would have the Rams versus the Bears. We would be 1 and done. And you'd have the Lions versus the Seahawks. Then you would have your NFC championship being Rams-Seahawks, which the Seahawks take. And then we have another side of that coin, because we had 2 other sides of that coin, which we had Bears-Eagles, Cowboys-Lions. Let's say the 49ers had won the division, the 49ers versus Panthers. You would get Bears-Rams, Panthers-Lions, Lions-Rams, which the Rams winning. And then you would have the Rams versus Detroit in an NFC championship, which the Rams would win. Another one we had was the Cowboys and the Bears, the Lions versus the Eagles, the Rams versus Panthers. You'd have Cowboys-Seahawks. You would have Lions-Rams, Cowboys versus Rams. And in that one, I think I had Dallas winning that one on a whim. So I do have some on the whim Super Bowl picks when we get to it. So we're almost done here. Another playoff picture I had was 49ers 1, Lions 2, Eagles 3, Panthers 4, Rams Seahawks at a 5, 6 the Chicago Bears, 7 us. You'd have Panthers versus the Rams or the Seahawks. You'd have the Eagles versus the Bears and the Dallas versus the Lions. You'd either get Bears 49ers, Rams versus Seahawks and Lions. With that one, you'd probably get the Rams on that one. Like I said, there was many playoff pictures I had, which was that 1 seed could change. Could be the Lions, the Bears, the Rams, the Seahawks, or the 49ers. I think somebody out the West or the South or the North is going to get that 1 seed. I don't think it's going to be anybody out the East or the South. One of them is going to get that 1 seed. And for other matches, you get the Eagles, the Rams, Bears, Cowboys, Seahawks, Panthers, Seahawks, Lions, Rams, Cowboys, which you would get Seattle winning that and going to the Super Bowl. One NFC championship I had was Cowboys, Lions, which the Lions would win. Another one we'd get Bears, Seahawks, 49. What if that Seahawks 49 would be a 2 seed? Cowboys 3, Panthers 4, et cetera, et cetera. Rams 5, Lions 6, Eagles 7. And with that one, you'd have the Bears winning that one. Now, for the AFC, I had a lot with this one, which you would get either the Broncos as your 1, your Bills as a 2, your Jags as a 3, the Bengals at a 4, the Chiefs at a 5, the Texans at a 6, and the Ravens at a 7. Now, with this one, I would have the Broncos winning this one with the Broncos and AFC champion against the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, the Texans versus the Broncos, the Chiefs versus the Bengals, the Chiefs versus Bengals, Texans, Jaguars, Ravens, Bills. The other way around is still as a 1 seed. I think Denver's going to hold into that 1 seed. I don't think anybody else is going to take that 1 seed. Maybe the Chiefs. I don't know if I said in here. It's going to be someone out the AFC West in that division, either the Chiefs or the Broncos. I don't think Buffalo or New England or even Cincinnati, Houston, or et cetera are going to get that 1 seed. So for the other one, you'd have the Broncos in it. The other would be the Chiefs as the 1 seed, but it would be the Broncos winning again. Another one I had with the Texans, which is Chiefs, which would be your match would be Bengals, Patriots, Bills, Texans, Broncos, Ravens, Bengals, Chiefs, Broncos, Texans, Texans, Bengals. That one would be if the Texans had won. Now, for my Super Bowl picks, here they are. For the NFC, I'm going with the Rams, the Lions, the Bears. And on my whim one right now, this is a long shot, is the Dallas Cowboys, which would be if the Rams would take on the Broncos, I can see the Rams winning it. But if anybody else they have to play, like the Cowboys got to play Denver, Denver would win. If the Seahawks got to play Denver, Denver would win. If the Lions had to play the Broncos would win. If the Bears had to play the Broncos would win. Now, the other second matchup would be against the Houston Texans, which is if it's Rams-Texans, both have good defenses, the Rams would win that one. It's Cowboys-Texans, Cowboys would take that one. Seahawks-Texans, I actually say the Texans in that one. If it's Lions-Texans, Lions. And in the end, Bears-Texans, the Bears. Now, before we end and I call it a night, now this show is going to go on a brief break. It will not come back until after Labor Day. So once after the day after Labor Day comes, that is when we are fully back in operation, and the show will really begin at that point. So before I end and call it a night, if you want to follow us, we're on our Facebook page. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Spotify, Apple, and any other social media platforms that I can think of right now at this moment. Before I end and call it a night, it's just been enough time for talk. It's time for kickoff. I'm Dave Walker, and we'll see you on the field. Good night, everybody.